Good evening and welcome to our Testimonial Tuesday for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2016. Spring is here. It's still daylight outside, and it's just, although it's colder than it was last week. So, hey, winter still hasn't quite given up its grip on us just yet. So I'm Vicki Drobness, and I'm a Ruby Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide in qualification for Diamond, and I am so thrilled to have my friend Yvonne Sparks on our call tonight for the second time, because the first time she shared about, the first time she shared about her health journey with Plexus, and this time we were at back a couple of weeks ago, we were at a team training in Oklahoma, and besides it being a great girlfriend weekend, kind of think big slumber party with 20 women in the same house, it ended up being some tremendous personal growth going on. And so I want her to talk about her experience with that and how she's applied that to her team, because I read this interesting quote the other day that network marketing is 95% personal growth and 5% products. That's something to think about. So for those people who say, oh, I don't know how to sell, or I'm not a salesperson, it's not about that. It's about being confident in yourself and being confident in what it is that you are being able to share with other people and having belief in that. So I'm going to go ahead and start our PowerPoint here to show our disclosure. As soon as I can find it here. There we go. Come on, pop up there. There we go. All right. So Testimony Tuesday. We always have so much fun with these. All right, so we'll go ahead and read our disclosure, and then we'll go back to our disclosure. There we go. And turn it back over to Yvonne. This presentation is brought to you by independent Plexus ambassadors and is not sponsored by Plexus Worldwide. The independent Plexus ambassadors and Plexus Worldwide do not claim to cure, treat, or prevent any disease and take no responsibility for personal actions taken by any viewer. Plexus makes no guarantees or projections of income, as such representations may be misleading. Your success depends on your effort, commitment, skill, and leadership abilities, and how effectively you exercise those qualities. All inspirational testimonies and tips should not be considered medical or financial advice and are not representative of Plexus Worldwide. They are tips, inspiration, and motivation based solely on personal results or opinions of the participants. So as you are listening to Yvonne tonight, think about, who do you know? Who do you know who you think would be really great at this business? Who do you know that maybe has said they want to try and do something new? Just think about what this could do for yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share on here and unmute Yvonne. Where are you? There you are. There you are. Say something, Yvonne.
Something.
I knew that was coming.
A little bit.
So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I'm going to mute myself and take it away, hon.
Yay. I'm going to apologize in advance if I say something that's not exactly coherent. It's been a long couple of days. My kids are on spring break, and we're having a blast hanging out with people, but we've been running around all day long. So I apologize in advance for that. Okay, so first thing I wanted to kind of comment on the quote Vicki gave you a minute ago about product knowledge and personal growth. That is exactly true. It's huge. And that's probably been one of my favorite things about Plexus. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what it's done for me health-wise. I love what it's doing for me financially. But the personal growth is probably the biggest surprise that I've had from this business. One of the biggest areas that I've grown in, I guess, or made the most progress in. The rest of it's kind of slow, but it's coming. Anyway, I loved hearing Sonia Dudley a couple weeks ago. That was huge. And not only the listening to her for how many of her hours that was, I kind of lost track. It was a lot of fun. She had so much stuff that she was pouring into us and just like packing our brains full of information. But I think my favorite part though was afterwards when we all got together and shared the nuggets that we learned and the just encouraging each other along the way and processing through all of that stuff. So a couple things that were takeaways for me from that weekend that I've used almost every day since then. She told us about an app that she uses for her affirmations. And I have been using that a lot, and it's amazing. It's called the Repeat It Again app. I don't know if it's on Android or not, but I know it's on the Apple App Store. And I think it's called Repeat It Again. Anyway, you can record like 9 different affirmations or messages and repeat them from 1 to 20 times. You can kind of slide the scale to how many times you want it to repeat. And I've really been enjoying that. I think it makes it a little easier for me to get my affirmations in every day, because carrying around a bunch of notebook or 3x5 cards or whatever and saying them out loud to myself is kind of awkward. And I would put it off because it was awkward. But saying it one time into this little recorder and then hearing my voice say it again and again, and having my kids walk in when I'm listening to it and say, "Is that you?" So they're kind of understanding that this is the thing that we need to do. It's kind of cool. So I've really been enjoying that. I've also, this wasn't something Sonia talked about, but I started reading this on the airplane on the way to there. This Miracle Mornings for Network Marketers. It's great, very, very practical. I'll hold it up so you guys can kind of see it a little bit. Practical tips about how to get your day started off right, even if you only have 6 minutes. There's 6 what he calls lifesavers in here. A good way to start your day are those 6, I don't know, they're not really topics, but kind of areas of focus. And he says, even if you just spend 1 minute on each of those 6 areas, you're going to see improvement. And I've really been enjoying that a lot. I'm getting ready to, this is a book Sonia talked to us about, the Self-Talk, Soul Talk. I'm getting ready to start a group, book study with my team doing this, and we're super excited about it. I have a lot of people buying journals and everything in preparation for this, and we're really excited to get started on this. I guess I should put it where you can see it. I've read a couple other of her books, and she's really good. So I think the biggest aha for me from Sonia's thing really was that our words are super powerful. I mean, I kind of knew that before, but I didn't really see the connection until some of the stats and stuff that she was giving us, and just hearing the stories from her own life, like how she had an affirmation about loving to sweat and working out, even though she really doesn't like it. And then how she randomly woke up that morning and went and worked out because that's what she wanted to do. That's what was on her mind first thing. And so seeing how that had been so powerful in her life was a really big aha for me, knowing that our words are powerful. I mean, it's in the Bible that says words are powerful. God spoke everything into creation. So that kind of tells you words are powerful, but I hadn't really connected that for my own life, that my words are powerful. So that was kind of a big aha for me. The other thing I really loved, I loved all of it. Honestly, I took a bunch of notes and then I went back and highlighted most of them because I wanted to remember them. But another thing that really stuck out to me, and it came up afterwards when we had done a Zoom of the people who had been there to talk about processing some more of the stuff about a week later. And somebody mentioned that Sonia said, we're talking about goals and whys and that kind of thing, and how when we set a goal, we don't need to necessarily focus on the how, but more on just decide that this is a done deal. Like, I'm going to make a goal, it's going to happen, and not really worry about the how. Because I would get stuck figuring out every single detail down to the little tiniest letter to figure out how I'm going to get to that goal. And then I would never get there because I was still busy writing down the details and trying to figure out, well, if this doesn't work, then what's going to happen? And so what if I don't even try? Because if I can't make this part of it work, then the rest of it's not going to work. And so I might as well just not. So not worrying about the how. And somebody said when we were in that processing Zoom after a week later, they said the Holy Spirit is the how. We don't have to worry about it. God's got it all in here to trust him and let him handle it. Prayerfully setting our goals with his guidance, and then letting him figure out how it's supposed to happen, and taking those little bitty steps that he wants to do each day. Another book that Jennifer Rothschild wrote, the lady who wrote this, she wrote Enough Light for the Step I'm On. I read it several years ago. I don't remember exactly all about it. It's kind of that same theory of, he gives us what we need just for this moment. And so we just have to trust that and continue taking those little steps. I don't really know in terms of what we're doing with my team. Like I said, we haven't started this week. I did talk to a couple of my teammates last week about some of the coaching things that Sonia told us about helping our teammates. And even I think it would work with new people, customers or potential customers. I think it would even work for that. asking questions more than giving advice or suggestions, unless it's something that you obviously, if they're asking you a question you can't answer other than with an actual answer. You can't answer it with a question about what they think. I think those were really powerful. And I talked to my team a little bit about that on Saturday, and they seem to be pretty open with that. So I'm hoping we can get some of those started pretty soon, some coaching calls and stuff. I love doing that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that more of my team being like, yes, let's do it. So other than that, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I could go on and on, but I don't want to go read every single one of my notes. I tried that with my team last week, and it kind of, everybody was falling asleep by the end. But anyway.
That is, all that stuff is so powerful. I love that, the decide that this is a done deal and don't worry about the how. And that ties in with things that I've been reading, and these little things that I sometimes think that, the divine speaks to me through Facebook memes, because I'll see something that's like, it's exactly what I need to hear. And one of them it was about letting go and just trusting and surrender. Not surrender as in I give up, but surrender as in this can happen in a different way than I had thought. And it's and giving that power to let it happen, because it can happen in a totally different way and in a totally cool way that you could have never possibly would have imagined. I mean,
exactly.
From our conversations before, neither one of us would have thought that we would be in this spot 2 years ago.
No way.
That we would be, growing our own Plexus teams and be going through this personal growth and be thinking that, this is a way that we can help our families and to do some of the things we've always wanted to do. And it's something that we never really even saw coming, but somebody else did, and knew what it was that we needed, and to just have that trust. But that being said, that surrender, I also want to encourage people, that does not mean you sit and it drops in your lap. You still need to take the action towards it, but you take inspired action. You don't just do something just to be doing something. You take the time to think and think, okay, who is on my heart to contact today? And sometimes that'll mean that this person pops up in your Facebook feed and they're just like, I am just so tired of feeling this way. And it's a way that you can respond to them. Or somebody that who just needs to hear that they're cared for. And it doesn't mean, hey, you respond and like, oh yes, I care about you, want to buy some Plexus. That's not it. It's about caring for people and helping them. And if it turns into something that you can help with them, wonderful. And if it doesn't, then, you've still been nice to somebody. The world oh gosh, after today, after what happened in Brussels today, and I know as people are watching this later on, maybe the significance won't be there, but there was a bombing in Brussels airport and in the train station today, and I've been close to that because my daughter's 45 minutes away from there, and is getting ready to be posted in Belgium doing in Brussels actually doing missionary work starting after the first of the year. So while I was thinking, being posted in Europe is, oh, that's wonderful, as she'll be safe, and it hasn't, the past couple of bombings in Paris and then now in Brussels, it's been a little scary for this mama, but just having to trust that she's going to be okay. She's doing what her heart has led her to do. But that is, our world needs so much to just help people, and that's all that we're doing. Is we're trying to help people feel better, because people who feel better are happier people. I want to, since we have several people on the call tonight, let me pull up the gallery view here, that were there this weekend, and we have some time. Does anybody else have any insights that you would like to share from that weekend? Something that either Yvonne and I haven't mentioned, or something that just kind of stood in your mind of, I need to say this.
I saw Pauline's thinking face.
Pauline was there, Rebecca was there, Janaea was there. She was there, yay.
I think
to unmute you. Okay, hang on a second. There you go.
Okay, one thing that I took from there was to stop the self-doubt, because if it's something that I strongly believe in, just go on with my belief, you know. If I believe the products work, if I've shared this with you, and it's up to you whether you want to try it, but I have to really, and have been really working on doubting myself, you know. And that was a big one for me, because I'm like, what if I say something stupid, or what if they don't want it, and now I feel stupid because they don't want to try. Like, who cares? Who cares? You know, this person may benefit from it, someone else. It doesn't matter. You've done your part. Stop doubting yourself, and that's what I'm working on. So that's one of the big things that I got.
That is huge, and that's I've got sunlight coming in over here. That is huge, and that's one of the things Charlotte has said, and it was until Charlotte said it in one of our trainings at one point. Never really thought about it this way, but worrying about what other people think about you is not really worrying about other people. It's selfish. It's selfish because you're concerned about what they're thinking about you and how you're coming across. And while we all want to come across as poised and professional, we really sometimes meet people at a better place when we come across as vulnerable and human, because that was one of the things I loved about one of the things Sonia said. And the only reason I'm going to share this is because she did post this on her Facebook page, so I feel safe in sharing this. But whenever she said something about that she didn't make her bed every day, and there were some people that gasped at that, but just that, you know, this does not mean that, you know, we're all human. We all have failings. We all don't do everything perfectly, and to kind of get over ourselves. And that's been a struggle for me, because I've had, you know, I was raised with feeling like I had to do everything just right. Very much a perfectionist. That's probably one of the reasons that led to 3 of my adrenal fatigues. So to have that makes a big difference on that. So let's see, I'm gonna Janae, I'm gonna mute you again because I'm hearing background.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Great insight. Thank you.
I think Rebecca had something.
Okay, Rebecca, let me unmute Rebecca. Hey, darling, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, wonderful. What insight did you have?
Oh, well, it may not be as much an insight as just I want to say something. I went to Sonia Dudley's meeting in Nashville, and then 2 weeks later in Oklahoma City. And I tell you what, getting mindset training like that 2 weeks in a row was so huge. My team went from growing very slowly, it was growing, to growing at a rate of 1 per day since we started going to Nashville. And that's a lot of personal sponsored, but also a lot of just people growing on, you know, levels 2 and 3. And I just can't say enough about how powerful that mindset training is, you know, where you get to believe in yourself and you start, yes, like Yvonne said, you know, use that repeat it again app. I do that now, and it's incredible because I just always thought, you know, I'm ugly. I just let myself believe that. So now on my repeat it again, I have this thing where it says, you know, every morning I listen to it, says, God created me with beautiful face. My teeth are absolute gorgeous. And that's my worst thing, you know. So, and I'm starting to really believe this stuff.
Well, you
God created me perfect. You know, he did. He created us perfect, and we've got to believe that.
Yes, and that's so true, because we hear what the media says and what other people say, and the world has gotten so cruel about I'm thinking of the Jerry Springer type shows and those types of things, where it became cool to insult people, and that's just, it's not cool. Or all the bullying I hear about that goes on in schools. I'm very involved with our leadership program in Dickson County, and they had we went to the education day, so we went to the schools, and there are posters everywhere talking about bullying. And I don't remember that we needed that. I mean, it's been 6 years since I taught, but I don't remember that we needed that. And has it gotten so bad? And I think it's primarily these, it's the cyberbullying. It's the stuff that people get really, I've heard it referred to as keyboard courage. And I could even say, guys, sometimes it just occurred to me, that keyboard courage, and some people use it for bad things, as a way to insult people. But how many times do we use it when we're talking about Plexus and we're talking to somebody through the keyboard because it's safer than talking to them in person?
Mm-hmm. I got a comment on that one.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Rebecca, I'm going to mute you again so we don't have more than a couple people having background noise. Thank you, Rebecca. That was great insight. Thank you.
So at the very beginning of when I started this business about a year ago, last November, I did a lot of let's go to coffee kind of things. I even tried to do a couple meetings, and then I had one person show up. But it was perfect because in person, I have a very, very high success rate. On Facebook, not so much. So getting over, that was another thing I picked up from Sonia's thing. As much as I like to think that I'm not good at talking to people, I am really good at talking to people, especially face to face. It's getting over myself, getting past my fear of what are they going to think about me, and making an effort to build a relationship with them. Not even necessarily talk about Plexus, but I was one of those people. I was telling the girls on my team today, I said I was one of those people because of past hurts that I would keep everything close to my chest. I'm very compassionate and I want to hear all about you, but I'm not going to share much about me because I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to cry. I hate crying. But that's something that really hit me that weekend is I need to be more vulnerable because they need me to reciprocate, because that builds a relationship. And as I build a relationship, I'm going to have more opportunity to share this hope that I carry around inside of me called Plexus. So I think for me, I need to start having more, which is part of the reason why my week has been so crazy, is because I've been trying to do more of that. Because I want to build those relationships. Maybe we don't talk about Plexus, but so far, every single one I've had this week, we have talked about Plexus because it just comes up, because that's me. But I think that's been huge for me, is just making an effort to build those relationships in person and not hide behind the keyboard, because that is where I am comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah, and I have been that way. And, of course, if you're dealing with somebody who is far away, you can't always get together with them. But you can do Zooms, so you can still at least talk. And you can
Or even on the phone.
Yeah, or a phone or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you can still do that. But the other thing that I was thinking about is that whenever you said that being vulnerable, we like to think that, or most people will think that, they want to give. I'm not a receiver. I'm a giver. I'm not a receiver. But by denying somebody else that opportunity to give, by you just saying, oh no, I'm not, if somebody tries to offer to buy you dinner and you say, oh no, I can't ask you to do that. And so, but if you just say, they're asking you for a gift, they're not doing it just because they want to feel obligated. They're doing it because they want to. And to just say, thank you, and to just receive that. And that opens you up for receiving other things. Because if you're going to turn back what God sends you, then, and you're not going to just say thank you for it, then he's not going to send you a bunch of stuff. So to be open to that and understand that you can make somebody, if you know how good you feel whenever you give or you help, so like Yvonne, like you said, you help somebody listen and let them talk, and you know how good that makes you feel, imagine how good it will make them feel to be able to reciprocate that way. Mm-hmm. So you're giving them a gift as well. And so, wow, this has turned into so much more than what I was thinking. It's so much more good stuff as far as it was. This is not the typical Plexus opportunity meeting. And that's cool, because that's the thing that we just love about Plexus, is that it has become this tool for, it's not only a tool for getting healthy, it's also become a tool for becoming what you can become. And to realize that the only limits are right up here. And most of those have been programmed in long before you had any idea that you were being programmed, but they can be unprogrammed, and you can write new programs using the computer thing. Or you can write new recordings, tapes, MP3s, whatever you want to call them nowadays. But you can redo that. And the Repeat It Again app is great. I haven't downloaded that particular app on mine, but I did record. Just use the record feature on your phone. Record that, and then just play it over again. Most of them have a way you can put it on a loop, so you can just record some of them. Go in there. I know there was one place, and I'll try and put this in the event invite. I found some affirmations for entrepreneurs, and it was like 80 of them. So if that's something that you're trying to think, okay, well, I don't even know how to get started doing affirmations, this is a great way to do that. Now, Yvonne, since we have a couple of minutes.
This one has some in it. I borrowed some of that, and then in the back of this one, whoops, let me get it in the screen. In the back of this one, there's a list of scriptures of how God created us to be certain things, and so that's one of mine that I have on the app. And then I borrowed a couple out of here, and then I had some of my own that I put in there. That's what I got.
Mention, because I think you were the one who introduced me to the affirmations. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Actually, I think it was in one of our chats. It actually might have been Rebecca. I can't remember for sure. Somebody posted that they had been listening to, and I don't have it with me to show you, but Noah St. Cloud has books on affirmations, which is forming them in a form of a question, because our brains like to answer questions. And I really like that idea, having my brain solve the problem of that. I liked what Charlotte said when we were there about having a place for both affirmations, the questions, and affirmations, the statements. Using the questions when our brain starts saying, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? And answering it with, well, why is this happening? And turning it around that way, and just using those kind of almost sparingly, I guess, was kind of her point. And then using the affirmations, the statements, more often, because that's reprogramming our unconscious mind. I kind of like the balance, and so I like to use both. I'm not really sure who actually shared the Noah St. Cloud stuff. It was in one of our chat groups, but anyway.
Maybe it was for Rachel. I think Rachel. I think Rachel had said something about it. Pauline, did you want to say something, or was that a thumbs up? So, thumbs up. Okay. You do want to say something. Okay, hold on. There we go. Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What I wanted to say was dovetailing from what Yvonne said about Sonia Dudley was the aspect of her training where she talked about the coaching. And that, we do have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And so we should be listening at least twice as much as we speak. And I think that's something that I needed to hear more of, because as a teacher, I'm speaking a lot at school. And I tend to, I get asked a lot of questions, and I do try to turn it back on the students, but I tend to be a problem solver at heart. And I found myself doing that with my team. And I think listening to Sonia Dudley, I realized that I just need to listen and ask more questions. And if I do that, usually the person will answer their own question that they asked initially themselves, just because you listen and maybe you ask questions of them, not why questions. I think that's what she said, right? Don't ask why questions, but ask other questions of the person. And you will undoubtedly find them answering their own initial questions. So that was very powerful for me, because I'm a solver. Okay, I'll tell you what to do. Okay, maybe you should do it. Instead of having the person listen to themselves and realizing that they already knew the answer to their own question.
Exactly. And as a former teacher, I know I have done a lot of that. That was a big insight of the enabling versus encouraging, because it's really easy for me to just, do this, do that. And that can hold your team back, because they think they've got to know all of that in order to be successful, and that's not true. That's not true. You learn while you earn. It's one of the best things about network marketing, is that you get paid while you learn how to do stuff, and it's so powerful that way. Thank you for sharing that, Pauline. I love that, and I love hearing your accent. I love hearing that. Thank you. All right. Well, we've got about 6 minutes, so I want to go ahead and wrap this up. And I'm not going to go through the rest of the PowerPoint like I normally do, because we've kind of, this is one of those things, like Yvonne was saying, is that the how is the Holy Spirit. That's where this needed to go tonight. And so we're just going to trust that that's where this needed to go, and that this is what somebody else will need to hear later on, or that we'll need to listen to it again later. Because these things kind of spiral around. We have things that are in cycles, and if we don't get something the first time, we're going to hear it again. You have the lesson until you learn it. This is one of those things that I think this has been the best part about network marketing, is learning while you're still helping people, while you're still earning an income, but getting to delve that. I've never had any type of corporate training, or even whenever becoming a teacher, the type of training that I've had through Plexus primarily. I know all network marketing companies have some variation of it, but from what I've heard from other people who've been in other network marketing companies, it's been nothing like what Plexus does as far as believing in the people and helping them get where they need to be. Mm-hmm. So if anybody else has a comment, we got a couple of minutes. Open that up for any comments. Pauline, hang on a moment, darling. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that I'm actually in England at the moment. It's midnight.
Wow.
And we're still, we can still do the business from wherever we are. It's so flexible, and I think that's one of the most amazing things about network marketing in general. But, being able to still tap into, your meeting, Vicky, but you can do it from wherever you are at whatever time. So just wanted to let you know. I'm not at home.
I saw you post something on, well, I saw that you, let's see, I think I saw something that said the United Kingdom. And then I saw something, and I thought, okay, well, it's probably spring break. And it just out, and then you're not in your classroom or your car. So I was like, okay, she's got to be somewhere else. Yeah. That is so cool. Okay, I think that's our furthest person who's been on a Zoom with us. Yes, that's so cool, and that's so true. You can do it no matter where you are. And I will also say you can do it no matter what's going on in your life, because I've had this bad cold over the weekend, and I was laid up in bed yesterday feeling really bad, and I was chatting on my phone, texting back and forth because I couldn't talk, but texting back and forth with my brand new ambassador and getting her all set up. And so you can do this no matter where you are. I didn't have to go be standing up and talking to people. I could do it wherever I was, and that's just a tremendous blessing. So, All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this tonight. I think this has been so cool. I love how sometimes these things that you don't really put a whole lot of boundaries or blueprints around, just kind of evolve. And I think this has been a tremendous, this is going to bless somebody so much. So I want to thank you to Yvonne and to Pauline and Rebecca and to Janaea for speaking and sharing with you tonight, and for everybody for being here. And I will have the recording up probably sometime later on this evening, if not tomorrow, and I'll post it in the event invite. So thank you again. Pauline, go to bed. It's late. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week, and go Plexus. Good night, everyone.